Welcome to your daily motivation and inspiration with Dan, where I simplify life and business and help you become your better self. What if you could leave your old way behind you, like Bono of U2 did, or Lady Gaga, or even Mark Twain? These people left their old selves behind them. How? They created a new version of themselves. They created a new personality, a new persona. And what if you could do that? Think about how your life would be. Because here's the thing, they lied to us. They told us that if we just went to school and we studied and we work hard, that we can be somebody, we can do something great, and we can make all sorts of money and live a great life. And that's maybe true to some extent, but that's a lot of work. And most people can't do that much. We're not designed that way, to have so much willpower to overcome old ways of thinking and old ways of doing things. Now, the key thing here is, how do you become a new version of yourself? Or how do you let that old way go and become a new person? Look at people like Jim Carrey. He left his old self behind and he stayed who he was. He was Jim Carrey. He didn't change his name, but he's an actor, and he acted. He actually went into the hills in Beverly Hills or in Hollywood, and he would stand up there and he would open up his arms and he would say something like, there's dozens of directors out there. They all want me, and I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to get a contract. And in fact, he wrote himself a check for $10 million, put it in his wallet, and he committed to receiving a $10 million offer for a movie by a certain time. And he had that check dated and in his wallet. And before Thanksgiving of that year, he received an offer for the movie Dumb and Dumber. And it was $10 million. So you see how he got out ahead of himself, and he programmed himself for success. He looked into the future and said, that's what I want. And then he went out into the hills in Hollywood, acted out what he wanted, and then he achieved it. But he changed his perception of himself. He didn't stay his old self. You can't. You can't just think, okay, I'm going to stay the way I am and then work really hard. Why? Because you have a psychological emergency brake on. You have the gas pedal on and the brake at the same time, and you're trying to move forward, you're trying to achieve things, and you're trying to have success in your life. And you can't. Why? Because you're going up against old habits, old beliefs, old ways of doing things. None of them of which are yours. They were given to you when you were young, when you couldn't say no and you couldn't filter things out. You didn't have the ability to reason and say, I don't like that, mom or dad, or whomever, your teacher. You couldn't say that. You just had to agree with it and let that be who you are. And that's the problem today. We're trying to change our old ways by working hard, working through it. And it doesn't work that way. You have to have a different self-image. That's the only way it works. People who lean up and get really lean and release fat, they know that. They change their self-image. That's the only way that it's done. So remember to do your best to eliminate mental blindness disease today and and do something different and think differently. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.